Without a doubt, the Apple Watch is the most popular smartwatch in the market today. And for good reason. There's nothing quite like it. This year, Apple released its newest model, the Apple Watch Series 6. In this video, I'm going to answer all of your questions. Why do I need an Apple Watch? Should I upgrade? Which model should I pick? And what's so special about the Apple Watch anyway? If these are some of your questions, I'm here to help. Hi, I'm MICHAELJOSH. You're watching GadgetMatch. This is the ultimate 2020 Apple Watch buyer's guide and Series 6 review. If you're an Apple fan, a techie looking to satisfy their gadget lust, or are here for help in finding the right device to match your needs, then I would love it if you subscribed to this YouTube channel. We put a lot of heart into making each video, and your subscription will go a long way to reaching our next milestone. It's been 6 years since the launch of the original Apple Watch, dubbed the most personal device Apple has ever made. Every year with each new release comes a new big feature. From Series 1 to Series 2, Apple introduced water resistance, the ability to track your swims, and they added GPS. On Series 3, Apple first offered the Cellular model and a barometric altimeter to measure your elevation during hikes. Series 4 was a big update. Case stayed the same size, but the screen got bigger. We also got fall detection and the ability to take an ECG. On Series 5, we got an always-on display, so the watch just dimmed instead of turning off when not in use. No need to do this to check the time. So what's new on Series 6? First is the ability to measure your blood oxygen levels, or SpO2, an always-on altimeter, a brighter screen, longer battery life and faster charging, and a new U1 chip. But what do all these improvements mean, and do they live up to Apple's claims? Battery life and charging is tackled in its own chapter. If you don't have the time to watch this entire video, then you can skip ahead to the chapter that interests you most using the scroll bar function, or use the links in the description box below. Since Series 3, the Apple Watch could measure elevation, but the ability to display it on the always-on display is new. This is what it looks like. It's available as a complication, one of the many different bits of info that you can display on your watch face. You can find it under the compass section. Usually it's smaller and on the corner of your screen, but if you want it nice and big, choose the X-Large watch face. There, that's better. Perfect if you're going on a hike or a climb even. The Apple Watch Series 6 comes with a new processor that loads apps faster, but it also allows for things like a brighter display, from 500 to 600 nits. It's hard to capture on camera, but outdoors in the sun, we did notice an improvement. This new SIP is also responsible for the Series 6's faster charging speeds, which we'll get into later. The full benefits of the U1 chip, meanwhile, have yet to be realized. But I have a feeling they will be soon. We first saw glimpses of U1 in action. If you point your iPhone at the new HomePod Mini, your phone will display a card showing the track that's currently playing. Right now, using an iPhone and Apple Watch, you can unlock and start the engine on most BMWs, launched from the summer of 2020. And supposedly, the next version of that will use the U1 chip, so you don't even need to take your iPhone out of your pocket. Apple is also rumored to soon be launching AirTags, which will help you track your things. The tech behind the U1 chip relies on spatial awareness. So imagine just pointing and waving your hand across your room to find your missing keys. That might just be a feature waiting to be activated, and it's already on your Apple Watch Series 6. Usually in the tech world, we demand that our devices are redesigned every few years or so. But while the Apple Watch has gotten new features each year, on the outside, over the last 6 years, the cosmetic changes are minimal, if at all. And that's a testament to Apple's design thinking. While I don't see myself passing on my Apple Watch to my child, if I had one, like my father would say, pass on his Patek Philippe, Apple has designed the Apple Watch in such a way that you can hold on to it for many years, and it won't look outdated. It's a classic, with a squarish face, rounded corners, and clean lines, a digital crown for navigation, and its unique system that allows for interchangeable watch bands. Apple offers a choice of finishes: aluminum, stainless steel, and titanium, each with its own pros and cons. Runners prefer the aluminum case because it's the lightest. I also prefer to sleep with this one for the same reasons. It's the most affordable of the three, and does a good job of resisting scratches and nicks on its frame. But its glass screen is the opposite, and will scratch over time just like an iPhone without a screen protector. This year, there are 2 new reasons to get the aluminum model. New blue and product red finishes are the hottest items in the lineup this year. I have both, of course, but if you're torn as I originally was, here's some things to think about. Blue is a classy color. It's a darker navy shade and at night could be confused for black. When hit by the light though, the blue shines through. And if you love the color as much as I do, then you might want to get a matching iPhone 12. Red, on the other hand, is louder and more attention-grabbing. I personally don't see myself wanting to wear the red one every day. It's more for when I want to make a statement. I could imagine it's almost like a woman wanting to put on a red lip for the day. While these two are the most exciting color options, do consider that these colors might make it harder to match bands, versus if you had silver or space gray that both match any color more easily. I've been using the stainless steel model for 2 years now, and it's definitely a more sophisticated choice, especially if you pair it with a Milanese loop. I like its glossy finish, and if you want a more casual feel, you can tone it down with a silicone sports band. The stainless steel Apple Watch has a more scratch-resistant sapphire crystal display, but the stainless steel frame itself scuffs, at least in my experience. Nothing to be upset about, we can call it character. This year, Apple also updated 2 of its stainless steel color offerings. Graphite replaces space black, which is more grayish than last year's deep black. And gold is still gold, but it's more yellowish this time. Last year's had a more bronzy shade. Finally, there's titanium, which is the second lightest material. Both its case and its sapphire display are scratch resistant, and its frame has a matte brushed metal feel to it. It comes in 2 finishes: natural, like this one I'm using, and a darker space black model. It's the most premium, most expensive of the 3 offerings, but it comes with extras that you don't get on the other 2. An extra silicone strap, plus a charging brick. I'm really loving this titanium model. It's a great balance of all the features I love most, and it does a good job at adapting to the band it's being used with. So it looks more casual than, say, stainless steel when paired with a silicone strap, but looks just as elegant with a Milanese loop, a chain link, or a leather band. Many of you probably don't remember it, but this was the first device that Apple made to help you track your run. Many years later, I got my first Jawbone, and I used it to mainly track my steps. 10,000 steps per day was apparently ideal, but until I started using it, I had no clue of how many steps I was actually making on average. Apparently, it was closer to 5,000, but with that knowledge, I was able to make some lifestyle changes so that I could get closer to my 10,000 step goal. But the point I'm trying to make is we've really come a long way in terms of the amount of data that wearables can collect about us and for us. And for me, it's really all about awareness. And for that, you really do need that data. The health and fitness data that the Apple Watch captures and stores for us is powerful. It allows us to go in and view our progress over time, and it gives us insight. Does our average pace get faster? Does our resting heart rate get lower? How many calories did we burn today? The Apple Watch has made a big difference in my life, especially on a week like this where I have a million videos to make and I'm behind a desk. The watch has at least pushed me to be a little bit more active. Talk to any Apple Watch user and they'll know what I mean when I talk about closing my rings. On the Apple Watch, there are 3 rings you need to close daily, color-coded and based on goals that you set for yourself. Red is the move goal, which represents active calories you burn, going for walks, climbing the stairs. Naturally, that counts for exercise too. But green is specifically for exercise, and it has to be brisk activity. And finally, blue represents your stand goal, a minute per hour for at least half of the day. Believe it or not, closing your blue ring is not easy for those of us who work behind a desk, and I know that's a lot of us. On busy weeks like this, I try my best to, at the very least, close my rings, which requires some hacking, to be honest. Taking my dog on longer walks, waking up earlier for a bike ride, or devoting 16 minutes to high-intensity interval training, which can burn about a quarter of my daily move goal in a quarter of an hour. On days or weeks that I don't feel motivated, I challenge my friends. Currently, I'm competing with Dave 2D, and from the looks of it, I'm about to get my ass kicked. Lastly, if that's not motivation enough, Apple also gives you all sorts of achievement badges to work towards. These days, instead of Nike plus iPod, I use my Apple Watch to record my runs. You can measure everything from distance and time spent running, calories burned, elevation gained, to more geeky things like average cadence and heart rate. I don't swim as much now that I live in New York and don't have a pool in my building, but swimming stats are fun too. The Apple Watch can track things like stroke type and split time. Recently, I've taken up cycling, and the Apple Watch can track that too. So I'm heading to MICHAEJOSH for some brunch, and I figured I'd take a bike so I can burn off the calories that I'm about to consume. I also need to catch up with Dave and hopefully still end up winning this challenge. Hey Siri, start an outdoor bike ride. Just like that. If you Googled Apple Watch saved my life, you'll get tons of first-hand accounts, not just those Apple chose to highlight during its keynote. These stories are the best sales pitch for the Apple Watch, and aside from its fitness tracking features, are really what sets it apart from its competition. The biggest feature is still probably the built-in single-lead ECG, approved by the FDA. It's recognized as a personal medical device. New on the Apple Watch this year is being able to measure your blood oxygen saturation levels, or SpO2, a measurement of how well your lungs and circulatory system are at delivering oxygenated blood to your body. Typically, you'd need a device like this, a pulse oximeter. Now, you can just use your Apple Watch Series 6. Low blood oxygen levels can be a sign of respiratory issues, which is why, during a time like COVID, having a device like this around is a good way to make sure your heart is still working properly. That said, treat the blood oxygen sensor on your Apple Watch as more of a wellness feature. Blood oxygen levels are a good indicator of good overall health. Now, SpO2 shouldn't be confused with VO2 max, which the Apple Watch has been able to measure for a while now. This refers to the maximum amount of oxygen your body can consume during exercise. A higher number means a higher level of cardiovascular fitness and endurance. The Apple Watch has sensors for other things. With watchOS 7, it can sense when you're washing your hands and start a countdown timer to make sure you hit those important 20 seconds. There's a hearing app that measures decibel levels in your surroundings and warns you if it gets so loud that it could harm your hearing. And then there's fall detection, which uses the gyroscope and accelerometer to detect if you've had a hard fall. If you remain motionless after the call, Apple Watch will immediately contact emergency services, as well as send a message to your emergency contact, which is separate from the emergency calling feature on cellular models that helps you call local emergency services when traveling to more than 150 countries around the world. There's also a cycle tracking feature, nothing to do with riding a bike, but instead tracking menstrual cycle. This requires manual logging of your symptoms, but eventually the Apple Watch can send you notifications based on your past cycles. Like this one, which let my producer Chai know that she was about to get her period. The battery life on your Apple Watch will vary depending on how you use it. If you're using it to track long workouts, then it won't last as long as if you just had it on during a normal workday. Apple is promising improved battery life on the Series 6, about 7 hours for outdoor workouts with GPS, and around 6 if you're also using LTE. More than enough for a full marathon. I've used the Apple Watch Series 6 for 1 whole month, and to be honest, I personally don't have an idea of how long it actually lasts on a single charge. You see, now that the Apple Watch comes with sleep tracking, I've changed my charging habits to make sure that my watch is always charged. Thankfully on Series 6, charging is significantly faster. You get about a 17% charge in 10 minutes and up to 80% in 60 minutes. A full charge takes about an hour and a half. Apple no longer includes a 5-watt charging adapter in the box unless you buy the titanium model. It does include the magnetic charging cable with a USB-A port on the other end. The lack of a charger shouldn't really be an issue. Any of your old chargers will work. Apple also sells a charging cable with USB-C on the other end, which you can use with USB-C chargers like Apple's 12-watt charging brick, or the charger that comes with your MacBook. But FYI, in my tests, there were no improvements to charging speeds, even with higher wattage chargers. If you want the Apple Watch to track your sleep, you'll need at least 30% power before you go to bed. If it falls below 30% before bedtime, the watch will remind you to top it up a little. So normally, I take it off before my nighttime routine. And then when I wake up, I put it on the charger again when I get ready in the morning. Between those 2 charging cycles, I'm golden. Speaking of sleep tracking, that's a new feature on watchOS 7, and it supports Apple Watches beginning with Series 3 and higher. To start, you need to find the sleep app on your watch, to turn it on, set sleep goals, and add a sleep schedule. Setting that schedule is pretty important because it tells your Apple Watch and your iPhone to turn off notifications in that wind down period before bed. This is what your sleep data looked like. Pretty basic stuff. Basically, when you fell asleep and when you woke up, and how long you were asleep for. Compare that to something like the Fitbit, which gives you a sleep score, as well as how much each of the 4 stages of sleep you're actually getting. If you're keen to collect more sleep data, then the Apple Watch might not be the device for you. I really believe it's more about holistically creating habits around winding down and sleeping more, but also about waking up more gently too. When you set an alarm, the Apple Watch will wake you up with a gentle buzz. This is great if you have roommates or if you sleep next to your partner, because that gentle buzz is not going to wake up the person sleeping next to you. My producer Chai, who I know for a fact will not wake up to successive loud buzzes from her alarm clock, says that this gentle buzz is successful in waking her up. So a lot of you ask me, do I need to buy the cellular model? Identifiable via this red circle around the digital crown. Before anything else, first check to see if you live in one of the 32 countries where the cellular Apple Watch is supported. If it is, then this next section applies to you. Do you need the cellular model? For me, the answer is yes if you find the following things beneficial. Being able to leave your iPhone at home and still have access to phone calls, text messages, navigation, music, and podcasts, and controlling your watch hands-free using Siri. Of course, there are a few caveats. First, you'll need a cellular plan for your watch so that you can activate the eSIM that's built into the device. Usually, there's a minimal add-on fee for this. Those features that I talked about are only limited to Apple apps and services, at least for now. So that means phone calls, FaceTime audio calls, text, or iMessages, but not calls or messages from third-party apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, or Skype. Streaming music apps and podcasts only work with Apple Music and Apple's podcast app, so there's no streaming support for apps like Spotify or Pocket Casts. And navigation will also only use the Apple Maps app. That said, I like the ability to go on a run or a bike ride and leave my iPhone at home, but still stay connected. And you might too. If you look over here on the left-hand side of the watch, you'll find speaker grills for you to answer calls or listen to music, but you can also use wireless earbuds. If, for example, you have AirPods paired with your iPhone, from your watch, just swipe up to get to the control center and tap on the AirPlay icon, this one over here, and then select which pair of AirPods you want to connect to. I find the combination of all of these features very helpful when I'm on my bike rides and don't have any hands-free. Of course, if you never intend on leaving your iPhone at home, then the iPhone will provide your Apple Watch with connectivity, and in that case, you don't need a cellular Apple Watch. Apple Watch Series 6, Series 3, and SE. Which one should you get? If you want all the features we discussed in this video, get the Apple Watch Series 6. To be honest, if you're looking for a watch for grandpa and grandma, then I think the Series 6 is still the best bet because it has ECG, sort of kind of wishing that it was also on the Apple Watch SE. If you're looking to spend a little less on an Apple Watch for your child, the SE is probably your best bet, considering it comes with a cellular option, which you need to use Family Plan. I'm finding it hard to recommend the Series 3. Maybe if you just want an Apple Watch to view your notifications without looking at your phone, or if you're just needing a basic fitness tracking device, one that you could probably use with the upcoming Fitness Plus service, then go ahead and get the Series 3. To be honest, when I bought my first Apple Watch, it went straight on my wrists, but I really didn't dive in to its features for about a year. Promise me you won't do the same. The Apple Watch can impact your life in many ways. You just have to make an effort to maximize its features. So, should you buy the Apple Watch Series 6? Is it your gadget match? Let me take a different approach this time around by telling you why the Apple Watch is mine. For me, the Apple Watch is many things. It's more than just a timepiece. It's a fashion accessory, and over the years I've amassed a collection of bands in different styles so that I always have one that matches my outfits and my mood. It's a wallet on my wrist. I love being able to use it to pay for a cup of coffee or a subway ride, tickets to a movie or a museum, or a digital boarding pass before a flight. It's a companion to my iPhone, and in some ways, I like that it encourages me to use my phone less. It's also more than just a health and fitness tracker also. It's an awareness device, giving me a better picture of my overall health, showing me its progress or its decline, and challenging me to do something about it. Soon, it might be my personal trainer also. It's a motivator to take better care of myself, reminding me to take a break and breathe a little, to get up from my desk and take a walk. And when I get back from that walk, to wash my hands a little longer. And at the end of the day, to put away my phone and wind down before bed. And to quote Redditor Yuri Gordiev, perhaps a single given item on this list, his is different by the way, is not very significant, although some of them really are. But they add up to create something that's really more than the sum of all its features. If you set everything up thoughtfully, it changes the way you perceive your digital life. He ends by saying, if this list doesn't have you excited, then maybe the watch is honestly not for you. This channel is built on the belief that there is no one perfect device, because we all have different needs. But in this one rare case, at least for iPhone users, I really think that this device can be a match for all of us, regardless of the life that we live. And for that, it deserves the GadgetMatch seal of approval. And let me just add, if you really think about it, it does live up to its billing. This is the most personal device that Apple has ever built. Give it a try. It might even save your life. And that was our Apple Watch Series 6 review. For more videos like this one, you know the drill folks, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time and as soon as we post new videos. Follow me on social media for all the behind the scenes fun stuff, and as always, make GadgetMatch.com your daily habit. Until the next video, I'm MICHAELJOSH. Thanks for dropping by.